let's use the money we get from our crude oil sales to cushion the ordinary Ghanaian, to make life a little bit meaningful. Most people, the level of poverty has reached a level that is ununderstandable. And we have to make sure that at least every citizen has a decent life. At least 3 square meals a day. At least, if you are a worker, go to work at the end of the month, get your salary, at least make some small savings. Not that you erode your salary even before the month is halfway. And so these are the difficulties. There's no excuse that we are paying high for fuel, we're getting more money from fuel, and we cannot use this money for the good of our people. We have to cut down the extravagant expenditures that we do. Government has become a burden on the people because the money that government spends is just too huge. Government has become a waste because if you are not producing and you are just consuming, that is what happens.
All right.
And so to conclude, we need to look at the wastage that is in the system, where we are told 12.5 billion cedis is going to the. We are not checking that to make sure that we bring back the 12.5 billion so that this can be used to cushion some of these price hikes that we see.
Professor Kwakumaoto, I mean, from what you say from a finance perspective, right, we do know that fuel and its related commodities play very key roles in the economic indicators, you know, of every country, most countries really. Now, an increase in the price of fuel, we know the corresponding consequences it may have on the locals, right? From where you sit, and from all the things that we had prior to the assumption of office by this administration, are you disappointed that we're seeing, you know, increments in prices when we know that derivatively it would have some dangerous repercussions for the Ghanaian people?
All right, thank you, Kwame. Good morning to my senior colleague, Honorable. I was watching what's coming, so I heard everything.
You talk is so
And Kwame, good morning.
Good morning.
Then let me greet all viewers. Kwame, you know, this fuel issue, it is not an MPP problem. It's a Ghanaian problem. It's an African problem. And whenever I hear these two parties, the NDC and MPP, doing politics with fuel, then I always say that they don't want to solve the problem, because none of them have solved the problem. It's a problem that must be solved using some level of economic competence, okay, which they have not exhibited, both parties. I wouldn't probably isolate one. And I always try to avoid such comparison, but sometimes when some statements are made, you ask yourself, I mean, the basic research we're taught is to do what we call descriptive analysis of an environment, okay? So to describe the situation, then I ask you, I'll take a retrospective, you know, trend analysis to ask from the year 2000 to 2008, then 2008 to 2016, then till date, what was the trend? And data shows that none of these two parties, are you okay, had been able to sustain, not even to reduce, sustain the price of fuel over time, because they don't control it. And we also don't have what it takes to control it. And that is a problem, Kwame. That's a problem we have as a country, which these two parties must agree. And I always tell the two parties, whenever I meet the two parties, I'm commentator for the two parties, that look, they have to agree as people, okay, parties that Ghanaians have now accepted that it is either NPP or NDC, okay, come together to solve the problem of the fuel challenge. Because none of them, currently what we have, none can solve it. I thought Honorable would have given us what probably the NDC will bring in to solve the problem. You know why? Because in 2008, the same politics was used by NDC. In 2016, the same politics was used by the MPP that will change the price of, we are going to reduce it. Kwame, and evidence shows that they've not been able to do it. Let's take the retrospective, journey. If my memory serves me right, in 2008, the fuel price was moving around 4 cedis, 5 cedis. Approximately about 5, 6 cedis per gallon. In 2016, what happened? About 14 cedis. Are you okay? Now, we are not even talking about gallons again, because when you talk about gallons, you are hitting the 30 cedis and 32 cedis. Are you okay? So now we are looking at a liter. So
how many liters makes a gallon?
4.5.
4.5.
4.5 liters makes a gallon. Okay. So we are now looking at liters, because once you mention gallon, then it becomes a problem.
So it's 31 cedis.
31 cedis.
Like one small gallon.
Yeah.
That's expensive.
That's expensive, and that is over 100% increase. Then from 208 to 2016 was also over 100% increase. So it tells you that these two parties, they don't have what it takes to even sustain the prices of fuel, let alone reduce it. Now, Kwame, what is the main denominator or determinants of fuel prices? And you bear with me that, you see, currently, we are looking at the global price of fuel. Are you okay? As well as in our part of the world, what influences fuel prices has to do with the global price. That is one. So as and when the prices of fuel increases globally, because we buy fuel on the global market, it will influence our price. That sometimes is not even the main determinant, but the major one has to do with the foreign exchange risk. Because we don't buy fuel in cedis. We buy fuel changing cedis to dollars. Okay? And these two parties have never been able to find an antidote to sustain our currency against the dominant global trading currencies like the dollar, like the what do you call it? The pound sterling, the euro, and the yuan. In recent time, the Chinese currency, the yuan. Ghanaian political parties, as well as African political parties, who are given the mandate to manage their countries, have not found the antidote to manage our currencies very well, such that even if you cannot reduce it, sustain it as it is. And we all know how our cedi has depreciated against the dollar between 2017 till date. Today, how much is the dollar? Over 6 cedis. Are you okay? So it tells you once again that the push factors, are you okay, of fuel has not been addressed. The problem has not been addressed by these parties, and it is time they look at how to address it than to be pointing fingers at each other. Because historically, none of them have done it. Now, let's look at it from another angle. So, as an individual, I'll point fingers at the two of them and tell them, look for alternatives. Kwame, there's one major alternative that a country in Africa, are you okay, had been able to address. Senegal. You know, Kwame, you can minimize the cost of... No, this fuel thing is because of movement, too. Migration, is not true. Kwame, I always tell you that where you stay, if we had an efficient railway system, you will not want to drive from wherever you are to this place.
It gets boring.
No, it's even stressful. Productive hours. I spend minimum of 30 to 40 minutes between a 100-meter, what do you call a stretch of road. Shiashi. That's productive hours. Okay? Senegal has addressed this problem because, see, when you have a railway system,
Yeah.
it takes chunk of the cars that you would have used, the fuel that about 1,000 of people would have bought in the morning. Only a railway system will address this problem. So you are minimizing the consumption of fuel in your country. Now, apart from that, historically, it is established that using a railway system, the pricing is far, far lower than the normal bus transport system. So in the short term, if these two parties want to address the problem without, recourse to the fact that there are some other factors, variables that they cannot change now, okay? Because whatever you do in your country will respond to what your people in there probably have their taste. As now, we all know that the consumption taste of Ghanaians is such that you cannot easily change it.
Okay.
These are things we should be hearing from them, how to address the problem. But the everyday pointing fingers at each other, making it to look like it is this person who doesn't love Ghanaians and that we love Ghanaians. Whenever they're in opposition, they want to tell Ghana they love them more than even they love themselves.
We have come to the admission that once there's a country to be managed, taxes must be paid.
Yeah.
What distinguishes one political party from the other is the rate of tax.
Okay.
And so you'd find that in addressing some financial difficulties, we try to put taxes, small taxes, on some of these products. Now, you would agree that in as much as NDC and NPP are all at fault, the NDC comparatively did better in terms of managing the hypes than the NPP, because I do recall that I think there was an analysis that was done by Mr. Pratt on one of the shows where he highlighted the number of increments which you have seen within a period of I think 6 months or so, when in the second half of the NPP's administration, the number of times that they increased fuel prices, but strangely media men were not talking about it, right? So we are looking at the quantum of increment because we have to pay taxes. We are talking about Senegal and things that they pay taxes in order that they will be able to get all of these things which will now ameliorate their challenges. But if you look at the percentage, the rate of increment, that is where the issue is. And with respect, yes, NDC is also complicit, okay, but pulling parity and doing a comparative analysis, you would agree that this particular increment is absurd, it's abnormal. You would agree.
Okay, Kwame, for me, whenever I'm assessing a scenario, okay, it's either a failure or you've been successful.
Yes.
And let's admit that in terms of managing the fuel prices of this country, both parties are failures.
How?
Yes, because they haven't managed it the way Ghanaians expected.
How do you want them to manage it? Because, and you were talking about data and things. How do you want them to manage it?
You see?
Because we know that it is practically impossible. Because you see, all of these energy sector levies and things like that are meant to address something.
Thank you.
Because we have debt. We have debt. We are
pay.
Exactly.
Thank you.
And if you look at how much we have borrowed and how much we need to pay, it stands to reason. And also the fact that the NPP has decided not to go to the IMF, it stands to reason that they would choke the Ghanaian people with more taxes. And so if you're talking about management, flowing directly from the performance of the economy, by reason of your capital expenditures and whatnot, then one can safely assume that it is because you have spent monies which you otherwise did not have. You need to raise monies from other areas in order to address these challenges. And I'm not by this saying that the NDC is not complicit, which I said NDC may be complicit too. However, looking at the rate and the percentage, one definitely managed it better than the other. Particularly when we were made to believe, albeit now we know it was a lie, that they were the better managers of the economy, and that some of the taxes which were on petroleum products introduced by the NDC were nuisance taxes, and they were going to take all those taxes out. You reduce taxes on fuel price, on fuel products by 15%, and then you increase it, by 1 Ghana cedis and more. So, what are you saying when you say that they've all failed in the money? Because taxes will be there, we will pay taxes, but you need to now understand who has the interest of the Ghanaian people at heart, in terms of even the percentage which they put on the petroleum products.
You see, Kwame, I don't want us to chart the tangent you are pursuing.
What is the tangent, please?
Relative performance in terms of failure. So who failed?
That is your description. That's your description. Because I'm talking about key performance and its index.
Thank you.
So the performance, because we vote for political parties on the basis, or we ride on the failures or successes of political parties to come to power. That's a fact.
Okay.
Now I am saying that, and I'm putting it to you clearly this morning, that if you compare the performance of the NDC in terms of the management of fuel prices, okay, and you with what is currently happening now, clearly there's a huge dichotomy, which dichotomy is so palpable for all to see, unless you are just refusing to admit, and unless you want to compare, what you describe as non-performance, because clearly one person has done relatively better than the other. That's the politics of the economy. Clearly.
And Kwame,
yes,
I'm saying that with my expectation, I don't want to chart that tangent to look at the situation where you tell me that I failed, but I think I failed better than you. That's not my benchmark.
That is your description.
No.
Did the NDC say they failed?
No.
It is the MPP.
Kwame. I started my argument with a preamble to the fuel prices, that none of them has, you see, they come and promise Ghanaians that, when we come, we will reduce the fuel. I remember.
Kufuor gallon.
What do you call it?
You remember Kufuor gallon? No, Kufuor gallon.
No, okay, let's even go to before the year to. Our former president, Kufuor, stood on, what do you call it? In a rally, campaign platform, and said, look, this gallon, that's where we had a Kufuor gallon. We will reduce the prices. Was able to reduce the prices because there's a constant denominator, constant factor, which is global, that you may not have that power to change. So stop promising that I'll reduce it. If you don't have what it takes to reduce it, then in 2008, I remember very well. I mean, our Professor Tamils of blessed memory. We will reduce fuel and lessen the burden of Ghanaians. What did they do? Between 2008 and 2016, fuel prices in Ghana had increased more than 100%.
But Kufuor, you increase more than 100%.
That's what I'm
coming. Stress on the
so you see,
one
I am not, if it is, if even 1%, you see, that is my argument. If it's 1%, I remember very well. And our current vice president said, look, if your fundamentals are weak, the foreign exchange rate will expose you. Has the current government strengthened the foreign exchange rate? Has the current government strengthened the fundamentals of this country? The answer is no. Because the dollar was hovering around 3.8 or 4. Today, how much is the dollar? It is 6. So the average Ghanaian should not accept that as performance. It is a failure. So you see, So you see, I don't want to chat your tangent. That look, let's look at who failed better than the other. No, you see, at the end of the day,
Kwame, I think that
I'll come to you.
No, but the issue is what we are discussing is not about comparison. What we are discussing is that this government has increased fuel prices, and commercial drivers are crying. and worried over the situation. That is what the paper says.
Yeah.
So
Honorable.
So this
but
comparison,
thank you for putting things
and
into
let me tell you,
perspective.
the duty of us is to criticize and give suggestions as to how government can mitigate the suffering that it is bringing to our people by these fuel prices.
Yeah.
Because we cannot go back and discuss what happened several years ago. We are dealing with the situation today because people are suffering today. People are not able to get bread and butter.
Okay.
And that is what we are talking about.
Let Prof finish and I'll come back to you. Prof, yes.
No, let me address what he just said. A honorable statement. You see, let's get this things right here.
Yeah.
You have criticized over the years. Ghanaians have given you the opportunity. For me, I see in the Fourth Republic, we have NDC chapter 1, chapter 2. In the Fourth Republic, we have MPP chapter 1, chapter 2. Are you okay? You have used the same, antics. That we want to pursue the interests of the average Ghanaian.
Yes.
With the criticisms. But what have you done to address the problem? The answer is...
I have said that they are going to be...
I'm coming. I thought you...
I'm saying government is getting more money by the increase in prices.
No,
government is getting more money.
That's quite
and the
understandable.
government should use this excess money
to address
Yes.
Yeah, you said that. But let Prof
if he's quoting me, he's using my words, he should use my words.
You are sitting here, so if you don't use the words completely, you can address it. But let Prof, Prof, yes.
Kwame,
yes, my boss.
You see, sometimes those of us in the middle, okay.
You are not in the middle.
I have critiqued, I've told you, I've said on this platform that I am not neutral. I always have a stance, objective stance. I have my own political ideologies I believe in. But when I mount your platform, are you okay? I espouse and try as much as possible to be very objective to data. And I think I've done that consistently.
Absolutely.
Honorable, when it's coming to speak for his party. I speak with data. And yes, I speak with data. So you see, I will always say this, and I'm very conscious, and it's so passionate to me, that you see, as political parties, there's a problem, there's a fundamental problem that you have not solved. How should we sustain our currency against the dominant global currency?
Dr. Manuel had the solution.
Has it been solved?
Yeah, but that is
But it's not been solved.
That's what the issue is. That's what the issue is.
Do you know, Kwame, do you know something?
Yeah.
Like in 2017,
yeah,
if the exchange rate was maybe 3.8, then you tell me that, okay, for the past 4-5 years, I have sustained it. I'll clap for you.
Yes.
If you reduce it, then I'll tell you, you've done well. But if today I need almost like times two of that, the city to buy $1, do you want me to clap for you?
Yes. Now let's put that into perspective.
No, you see,
let's put that into perspective.
And I'm saying that there's a constant variable that these two parties must solve.
Yeah, but the point is also that, listen, the point is that, you see, and here I know that you will disagree with me vehemently, because that has always been the position when I bring this issue up. You see, even with all the wrongs as so described by the MPP in the banking sector, we managed to, have a consistent cedi to dollar rate in terms of exchange. We managed to have that. This government can, and everything is interconnected. You might not see it, but it has dire consequences. Every decision that you take would have consequences. This government came, broke the backbone of the middle sector. Because what drives most economies is the middle sector. You can't disagree with me on that. Because if you have a country where it is just either the upper class or the lower class, you can expect that the economy will collapse. What sustains the economies of the world is the middle class. You come, you collapse banks, you dissolve businesses, and then the middle sector, the backbone of the middle sector breaks, and you expect that your cedi will be sustained. You expect that the cedi can match, the dollar, where in those countries, their middle sector literally controls everything. Now, clearly, albeit that you will disagree with me, but that is also part of the problems that we are facing today. And which is why the Ghanaian people are being taxed today, because we have failed to address that fundamental challenge which, confronted the people. Maybe that solution was good, but what did we use to replace, that particular sector? Nothing, absolutely nothing. So when we sit now, there's no middle belt, there's no middle sector, and people are having to just either you are rich completely or you are poor. And when you get to that state, your economy will collapse. That is where we are. Doc.
Kwame.
Yes, sir.
Let me respond to the statement you made that
Respond.
they broke the backbone of the middle sector. And in relation to the financial cleanup.
And several other collapsing of businesses and things like that.
I don't know whether you have been following. I'm still doing some studies on that.
Please
okay.
do.
And later probably I'll publish my findings. But Kwame, let's admit this. Irrespective of some of the sympathy towards some people, probably that you could say genuine. Some of these financial institutions were already collapsed. In fact, they had even stopped operating.
Which ones?
Oh, I don't know it at all. I know ACN.
Which one is that?
Is it ASN?
Which company is that?
ASN. It's a microfinance.
Never heard of it before.
Okay. Oh, they operate in Medina.
No, never heard of it.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. And then, as a finance person, okay, I've done analysis of most of the indicators which makes a financial institution sustainable. They had all collapsed. Now we are talking about depositors' money, which this government made sure that they compensated, if not all, most of the people who had monies in those institutions that were going bad. By going for even loans, some of us had issues with some of them do. But see, to a large extent, the problem was solved with some level of ensuring that people's deposits were protected, including mine. I don't know about you, because I also had deposits in some of those institutions, and I mentioned ASN because I had some deposit there. Okay, apart from being a lecturer, I'm also an entrepreneur. Okay, and for about 2 years before the cleanup, ASN was owing me. They were owing me. Now, I have clients whose monies were locked up in a number of institutions. Look, some are in court, but some of my clients had over 1 million cedis locked up in those institutions. Even after the investment had elapsed, they want back their money and they couldn't. And do you know it's the same clients who were reporting such institutions to BOG, the regulator. So you see, let's not say this in a vacuum, but let's look at it from the critical point of view. You may have a different way to have addressed it, and this would have had a different approach to that. Are you okay? But the truth is that it was something that should have been done as part of
do you agree with me or do you not? That singular decision has broken the middle sector.
No, if it had broken it, we'll be worse off.
Are we not worse off?
No, if you see,
are we not worse off?
Kwame, let's speak with data. Let's look at data.
Yes, we're speaking to data. No. I am telling you that from my...
You made a submission without specific data.
No, but you have not also responded to me with specific data.
I told you that, see, the indicators are public.
Yes, but I'm telling that on the basis of those indicators which are public, I'm telling you that the middle sector is broken.
We have what we call the capital adequacy ratio. Virtually all these banks, institutions, had negative capital adequacy ratio, which simply means that, in fact, the money they even contributed to run the bank, they have spent it. They don't have even a kobo in that bank, a peso in that bank, and they are now spending depositors' money. So you see, the bank has collapsed in existence. That's what it means. And sometimes this is something that some people don't know, that if you have negative capital adequacy ratio, and you have, in terms of your own contribution in a bank, you know, banks, most of them, the owners, their money in it is less than 10%. So that is why BOG will not allow a bank to even build an office without approval.
We've made this argument several times.
No. You see, so no. If once you bring it, let's educate people. But what I want to say is that if we chat that tangent,
no, we are not chatting in a tangent which is at variance with conscience. Because you see, in all of these conversations, it comes back to the ordinary Ghanaian, and I'm telling you that you may disagree with me, but that's okay. But I'm telling you that we are here. You are saying that we would have been worse off if the middle sector had broken.
Yes.
Are we not worse off?
Oh.
Pulling parity with what the economy was, how much has been borrowed so far, what investment we have made, capital investment we have made, whether or not we've even made those capital investments, how much taxes we are drowning the Ghanaian people into with, and even e-levy and all of those other things. If the economy was in better position, do you think that the Ghanaian people would have been, consistently without contradiction taxed so that we could sustain the economy?
Kwame, I know you disagree with me again, but the truth is one. I always say that, you see, we all know what is happening to our economy now.
What is?
Thank you. Before,
Doc, I'll come to you right after.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't stop talking so that my senior colleague, whose nephew is my good friend,
will come in.
Dr. Marzuke.
Okay. On the basis of that, let me just go for this quick commercial. We need to make some money, and then we will come back into the studio. But let me quickly remind you again that Trasaco Group has added its newest addition called Trasaco Springs. Now, this one is different from the model that you know, that seemingly appears to be very expensive. Now, this particular one is for everybody. You can own a service plot. You can buy, the service plot. You can build your own house. You can ask them to build it for you, and things like that. They have payment plan. You can pay over a period. We know that the economy, Charlie, right now, but you need to always invest, and it's always good to invest in properties because properties, they say, always appreciate. It doesn't depreciate. So once you buy a plot of land, you can pay over a certain period. You can also own an uncompleted build. That's what they do. They build a shell for you, and then you can complete it to your own specification. So I think that is an opportunity that particularly young people must take advantage of, and also people who intend to move out from their parents' homes. It's very, very important. Right now, rent is killing us. So why not invest in buying a plot of land and building your own small, nice house so you can spend quality moments with your family members? Now, if you want to do that, just simply call 055-659-2658. 055-659-2658. Make sure that you call Trasaco Springs. The norm has been that Trasaco for no, but this one very, very, very affordable. Trasaco Springs is off the Tema to Accra motorway. Beautiful place, beautiful land, gated community. The security is assured. You need to call them 055-659-2658. Quick commercial break. Stay with us. Don't move a muscle. Watch the Trasaco Springs advert. We'll come back and I'll give Dr. Robert Kugagnablem, our MP, my personal MP for Binduri constituency. Yeah, even the one who is there, I don't even know his name. What's his name? I'm not sure you know. Doc, do you know the MP for Binduri now?
I don't.
You don't know. You see, that's the problem. The guy said nobody knows him. Anyway, quick commercial break. Stay with us. Don't move. So we'll come back, conclude with this issue of the fuel, the hikes in the price of fuel, fuel products in this country, and then we will zoom in to discuss e-levy and other related matters. Stay with us. You better not miss the second part of this show.
Trasaco Estates, home to Accra's most beautiful and luxurious homes, presents its newest addition, Trasaco Springs, a premium master planned community of service plots surrounded by an exhaustive list of amenities. The gated community of Tema to Accra Motorway presents you the finest opportunity to own a land that suits your preferred size, budget, and payment terms. Trasaco Springs is open to you for development. Our on-site sales executives are ready. Call on 055 659 2658.
Very kindly for staying tuned into the morning show. Don't forget that this news review segment is proudly and ably supported by Trasaco Springs. I told you, call them on 055-659-2658. Doc, you wanted to respond to some of the things which Prof said, and then we can come back and look at, because I think I gave you ample time.
That's
right?
okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I denied Doc that opportunity. So let me give you some 2 minutes to respond to a few things.
Oh, but you know, Doc did some 30 minutes before I came, so...
No, so, well...
No, that was on Burkina Faso.
He's made the points, and my take is this. When you elect a government in power, to do work, you measure it by the work it is delivering. Let's take it, the NDC was supposed to have performed poorly, and they campaigned on that and won the elections. We must hold them onto what they said they will do. And the situation is becoming unbearable for all Ghanaians. And so it is not the NDC, but any objective fellow. Look at his situation now. It's not the same as NDC. He said he has savings in those banks. I'm sure his savings, they are all gone.
No, they are not gone.
You are still saving.
I retrieved them.
No. What I mean is you build that capital in the administration of the NDC.
No, I work as a lecturer.
Oh, it's okay. I'm just teasing you. So it's
No,
okay.
no.
So,
You asked me, so I want to explain.
generally, don't explain. Generally, everybody living in Ghana today has gone into his savings to survive because the economy is hard. Everybody has a bleeding pocket. So applies to my friend. And so what we are saying is that yes, there's price hikes. There's going to be a lot of social problems because people's lives are going to be made more difficult. But what does government do in this instance where it has some resources because the price hikes also increases government revenue? It's a windfall for Ghana because we produce fuel, crude oil. And therefore, what we are saying is that use this money to stabilize the system so that the ordinary Ghanaian can survive. This is what we are saying. Cushion us small.
Right.
Otherwise, you see people walking in the street.
Right. Brilliant.
Kwame,
Moving on.
Kwame, can I read it to you?
Please.
That was a statement by NDC. NDC continued by, this is 2008, that petrol should not sell for more than 2 cedis 80 pesos per gallon. As compared to the quoted price of 3 cedis 69 pesos per gallon.
At the time the NDC was leaving power.
208.
Yeah, but at the time the NDC was leaving power, how much was
14 cedis.
Per what?
Per gallon.
And what's the
But
price?
what was the liter? Huh? This was the liter?
No. I mean gallon.
Yeah, but gallon now is how much?
Over 31
No,
cities.
I'm looking at from what do you call it? 3.69 to 14 cedis.
Yeah, to 14
Now, you see,
cities. What is the
argument should be the comparison.
Hold on, I'm coming.
You see,
Because
there's a fundamental problem that we have to solve.
3 point, you said 3.9.
And
you said 3.9.
No. I mean a quote. I mean, this is a quote.
No, I know, but what figure is that?
3.69 per gallon.
6.9
Per gallon.
Per gallon.
No, not per liter.
And then it took it to what? 14.
14.
14 cities. 14 cities less 3.39. 39. My mathematics is not good. So it was 10 cities.
I can tell you
10 cities. 10 cities.
That's over 300%.
No problem. 10 cities. 10%.
Yeah.
And at the time, NDC also left it at 14.
Come on, let's not do
Hold
this.
on. We are doing
Okay,
it.
14 minus 30. 31.
17.
So
Seven cities extra.
this is about 100% too. That's a bit of over 100%.
No, but you're talking about performance.
But we are talking about over 300%. So what are you talking about?
What is the over 300%?
No. I said don't go there. Let's not go there.
We are going there.
When you go there,
But you went
we
there.
are assessing people's failure.
No, we are not assessing people's failure. We are simply comparing.
And even doing that, comparing performance,
yes,
the NDCs are worse off.
No, hold on. The fact that
they are worse off.
How are they worse off?
No, look,
we just did from 3 cities to 14.
No. So you make it 4 cities to 14.
10.
4 cities to 14.
10 and 14
so
to 31.
10.
Yes.
So 10.
Yes.
Then 14 to 31. What do you have?
17. Which one is better?
17
within the translation here. And now you're saying
it is 100.
Oh, Master Jara.
14 minus 4. How much is left?
14 minus, is it not 10?
No, 100.
14 minus 4.
14 minus 4 is 10. It's not true. So let's go. Let's go ahead.
And this is 17.
14, yeah.
What mathematics are you doing this morning?
No. You are saying that you take 4 out of 40.
I have told you. Let's not assess their failures.
Nobody is assessing anything. We are talking about today's issue.
It's about meeting targets.
Yeah.
It's about meeting targets. For instance, issue. You set a target. The fact that you have not been able to meet your target does not mean you've not performed. Do you understand what I'm saying?
We help them by doing comparisons.
Doc, it's not how.
Let's tell them that look, this thing,
Doc,
there's a fundamental problem.
Hold on.
That they haven't solved.
Doc, respectfully, how do you say?
And this man sits here and criticize. The next moment when they come, they'll tell Ghanaians, and then the other side also come in.
How do you assess?
No. As a country, we must make progress.
Hold on.
You as an individual, 10 years ago, were you a professor?
No, hold on.
No.
Were you a professor 10 years ago?
So
you as an individual, you are improving in your life.
Yes, I have progressed.
So
you people have not progressed. The fuel pricing in Ghana.
How do you
we are retrogressing by both parties.
10 years. So now we have 5 years of the MPP.
Let's move on. Let's
this country from the doldrums they talked about.
Let's move on.
That is what the issues
All
are.
right. Interesting. And Doc has found a way of avoiding my question. Because I was going to ask him how you perform. How do you measure performance? How you measure performance? But because he was interjecting, it told me that he doesn't want to answer the question. Martin Owusu jumps into E-level fight, accuses government of arrogance, impunity, and abuse of power. That is on the front page of the Republic newspaper. That's on E-level. Asibe Yabua, best MPP's bubble, says E-levy not the way. You know, Marcus Asibe Yabua, very intelligent, MPP, former MPP member of parliament who understands finance, clear finance person, and he was actually selected to be one of the people who would have been a deputy finance minister in this country. Mark Asibe Yabua, very, very knowledgeable when it comes to finance and economics. Now, he has indicated that E-levy is not the way to go. Now, this one also says that E-levy, on the front page of the Daily Satellite, says, E-levy, we have resolved to stand by the Republic to turn around the economy. I don't know what the resolution of the Republic was for the majority caucus leader to indicate to us that they have resolved to stand by the Republic to turn around the economy. What is the resolution? Who passed that resolution? Where was that conversation had? Such that he will now come out to say that they have resolved to stand by the Republic to turn around. When was that resolution passed? We don't know. But what we do know is that it appears that there's a town hall meeting which is being taken to the various regions for the purposes of education. Clearly, the government is still insistent on maintaining the percentage, 1.75. All other countries which have implemented, the policy e-levy have either reduced it drastically, some even 0.5%, some 1%, etc. But Ghana is still insistent on implementing 1.75. Now, Dr. Wakumaoto.
Yes, please.
Majority powers pressure for e-levy. You have listened to Stephen Amoa, who has indicated, albeit not, plainly, with no apologies, that Ghanaians, the NDC cannot stop them from implementing the e-levy. And that, whether they like it or not, they will do that. That's the posture. Of course, the finance minister, by reason of not engaging the Ghanaian people before and the minority also before and even now, speaks volumes about whether or not they are committed to having a conversation which will find expression in the current situation that the Ghanaian people find themselves in. So, e-levy, 1.75, is it the way to go? Mark disagrees. Yeah. Martin Amidu disagrees. A lot of well-meaning Ghanaians are in disagreement. Do you agree? Do you subscribe to 1.75? Should we have a conversation or we should scrap it at all?
Kwame, you asked me this question last week. My stance has not changed about the e-levy. And I've always made my stance known. I see, I'm a tax person. Like, looking at, if you want to really look at levying services, are you okay? Mm-hmm. To a large extent, it's quite, regressive. Especially when you really want to encourage people to use the virtual platform. However, you see, we are having liquidity issues in this country currently due to a number of factors, including COVID. As a country, we have the option of going to borrow at a higher rate because of our credit ratings. And another option to either solicit funds, some funds from the people in the country and to address a problem. That is how to solve issues in the midst of challenges, okay? And I've stated this over time, that indeed this government should have started the conversation in a different manner. But the posture wasn't one of the best. It is not a problem. It's not a problem for the government to say that indeed, because of ABCD, we think we should levy ourselves to address the problem instead of going out there, which is quite expensive. That's not a problem at all. And I have stated this over time that look, they should have even tenured this levy. That because we want to address this fiscal gap, Ghanaians, please bear with us. Let's raise these funds for the next 3 years. After 3 years, we abolish it. Mm-hmm. Are you okay? So it is not like something that you really want to introduce, because if you want to juxtapose what we are hearing today from this same government and then 5-6 years ago, mm-hmm. It doesn't connect. It doesn't connect because a lot of people resonated with the promises of the MPP party because it did not really probably propagate on the stance of taxation and levying, but propagated on equal trading. Increasing production, trading in large masses, which in effect would translate into more revenue, but not to tax. But where we are in the short term, if you have a problem and you want Ghanaians to help you in solving it, are you okay? The way and manner it was presented probably wasn't started well, okay? But for me, I think it's just a measure to address a liquidity problem or to go out there and borrow. Now, Kwame, I don't want us to do politics here once again. Mm-hmm. Last week, I told Honorable, Rashid Pepu, that observing the posture of most political parties, trust me, if today MPP, the current government, passes this particular bill, when they come, they'll come and increase it in the future.
How do you know that?
Oh, there are a lot of occurrences that we have history.
Speak to data. Speak to data.
Thank you.
What are you referring to?
Thank you. one of them is what I quoted earlier. That you telling me that fuel price was 4 cedis, and when you come, you reduce it. You don't see why we should buy it at that rate. Then at the end of the day, before you were leaving, it was 14 to 15 cedis.
Oh, but MPP is more complicit.
No. So you see, that's the posture of, these parties. And as Ghanaians, we have to tell them.
So tell the MPP first. Tell the MPP first before you say.
Kwame, are you listening to me?
I'm listening to you, Pa.
Kwame, you know.
It's like Coco Football. You are doing really that.
Kwame, why do you do this to me now?
I'm enjoying your submission.
You see, no. That is, and I'll always remind them, it is in the best interest of the NDC and the MPP not to play politics with Ghanaians, because Ghanaians are becoming so enlightened overnight. Let's govern with that honesty and the truth. That indeed, this is what we said, and this is what we have done, and this is what we are coming to do. But if we will always promise and we wouldn't be given the necessary output expected by the people, then they will always have issues with you. Okay, so for the e-levy, Kwame, it is not out of place to levy people, because there's another point of contention whether this is a service. Look, it's a service. Else, why are Ghanaians not questioning the telcos for charging 1%? For that, they don't think it's a problem. If the government says that, look, I need to raise some funds, therefore I want to levy people to address this problem, that one shouldn't be a problem. That shouldn't be a problem at all. But you see, people are talking about the rate, the rates, the 1.75, too high. You know what? I got irritated when after we spoke about the whole thing, when the bill was presented, it was 1.78, 75. Yeah. I was like that. So listen to the plight of the people. Okay, they said, look, indeed, in principle, before the first, the presentation, the first one, CSOs came out that, look, okay, there were some reactions to it, but a number of said, look, you want to raise revenue, so no problem. But I see the rate 1.75 was too much, so do something about it, including the minority leader in his own capacity as Honorable Haruna. He even mentioned that, look, the government must do something about the rate. So if you don't listen to all those people, and today...
Okay, let's move on. I think that Amma has a recording. Okay. So my time is up. It's almost up. Let me get Honorable to also respond to the matter.
All right.
And then
but I know Honorables will tell you that the NDC will not budge to it. But trust me. But trust me.
They will want to increase it.
Kwame.
No, I mean, let me.
Will you keep this session?
I am keeping
for maybe 5-6 years to come.
Okay.
Or maybe 8 years to come.
Okay.
I am not going to say...
People try to liken me to be a prophet, but this one is based on trend analysis and observation of a character.
And the data.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, when I said I had not seen or heard who the Honorable Member of Parliament for Binduri, the current one is, in fact, I just Googled. And the only thing I saw was how he is literally insulting the people in Binduri.
Oh.
I'm telling you.
Oh. Is it from the party?
Because you see, as a member of parliament, hold on, Prof. As a member of parliament, you do consultation before you either agree or disagree with a policy. No, so. Because if you read the functions of parliament, they are supposed to articulate the concerns of the people, more like the mouthpiece of the people in the constituency. So, necessarily, you must have conversations and discussions with the constituents before you subscribe to or disagree with a government policy, because you're not supposed to work for government. You're supposed to work for and on behalf of the people. Now, what I'm actually seeing here is that the honorable member, his name, Abanga, says that, and this is a story on, what's the station? Okay, well, the station is not quite clear here. But the man says e-levy won't affect Binduri people. Most of them do transactions below 100 Ghana cedis. So first of all, you are insulting the people. that they are poor. Hey!
Kwame, did you insult them?
But
No.
Wait. Are you saying that there's nobody in Binduri who does transactions above 100 Ghana cedis?
I didn't say that.
So don't say that.
But I see, Kwame, you see.
Anyway, you're on the floor. You're on the floor.
Please,
hold on.
Please.
Proceed.
I just want to respond to Prof.
Yeah.
The issue of whether when the tax is the levy is passed, when NDC comes to power, we will
increase it.
We increase it even higher than the 1.75. For me, that argument is immature. We have not gotten to that stage. The problem we have now is that government wants to implement e-levy at the wrong time where we are suffering as Ghanaians.
So in principle, you believe in it?
Listen. If I was introducing, common sense will tell you that when you are introducing such a tax, it must be cautious and it must be incremental. You don't go boom at 1.75. Yes.
1.75, not just 75.
1.75 and now 1.5. Now, this is unacceptable, and any government that thinks about its people will consider such a tax in a manner that is cautious and incremental. You don't come in a posture fighting everybody.
Yeah.
This tax policy has generated a lot of opposition, excessive opposition.
Already they've lost 3 billion.
Conflict. And
the telcos have lost 3 billion already from December till now.
And so such a policy that funds fear, because people are uncertain. The debate is only coming to at a time when government is fixated in passing this thing. So what would happen? What will happen is that there is no way this tax will succeed even if they end up passing it. It won't succeed. And the purpose for which they have crafted their policy will fail. And this is not what we want a government to do. When your policy fails, it means your government has failed. This is common sense. And so for me, what the government should be doing, it hasn't done, is to just eat humble pie and then allow this debate to continue so that the policy is further improved, refined for it to go through some time. But not this particular time, because the government is intransigence is only leading to monumental failure. You see, Prof mentioned the fact that why are we not talking to the telecos
They are providing a service.
They are providing a service. For God's sake, they are doing work for you. And so they are charging you for that work. Government has not been prudent in the use of our scarce resources at all. 12.5 gone. We don't know where it is. Billion.
What 12.5 is that?
Oh, you're not following the audit report?
Oh.
They can't find 12.5 billion.
Honorable.
Why you?
Honorable.
I'll come to you. I promise I'll come to you. Prof.
Yeah. So, what we are seeing is a government that is not a good custodian of our money. The government is not a good custodian of our money. So, how do we entrust more money into this government? And so, the little things that the government should do for the people, the government is not doing. People are skeptical of this government. They are afraid to put their little penny into this government. And so, you cannot, and let me tell you one other principle. You don't just get up and then cancel a tax like that. If you are canceling a tax, you are canceling some amount of money that is coming into the government's chest. So what are you doing to replace that vacuum you have created? What have you done? We canceled the road toll. Just deliberately, without thinking. What we could have done is to improve the collection of the road toll, because people have paid this road toll conveniently over the years without difficulty. You go and cancel it, and now you are bringing a tax because the telcos made so much money, a lot of money passed through the telcos, so let's tax it. A cheap way of doing things. You don't want to sweat. And that is the problem. The problem is that government is collecting so much data. That is private data. And so they know, each of us here, how much we are spending from our pocket. And so they want to tax it. That is cheap. That is cheap. And cheap things don't last. And so for me, this policy must be withdrawn. We must sit as a country and debate further. Because such a tax, introducing such a tax is normally lengthy and a difficult process. It is not a one-day thing. It's not in November that you just come and start putting this in the budget. We should have started debating this somewhere in January. Because
I agree with you. That's consultation. You see, I agree with you. I mean,
okay, I'm happy that you have agreed with me at least once.
No, I agree with you. Okay. No, that's the principles of consultation.
Consultation,
yeah,
because you need consultation to build consensus.
That is it.
And when you lack this,
I agree with
you create unnecessary and excessive opposition to otherwise a good policy. A good policy in the sense that government needs money. Not in the sense that government needs money and must take it from e-levy.
That's true. Government actually needs money. And they've admitted that they need, and they don't want to go to IMF. So obviously they have to raise the money
and
internally.
Again, why are we seeing IMF as a monster? IMF has been with us since Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana. So why are we seeing IMF? It's just that we talk without making sense. We try to deceive the people. The World Bank, you want to mess up with the World Bank?
They'll mess you up first.
They'll mess you up first. IMF, they come and then they tell you, look, this is going this way, this. We believe that if you implement this, they don't force you. They don't force you. But they have the money to give you, to remove you from the doldrums you find yourself. And so this government, they've spoken so much and they've spoken so well. And the people bought into it, and they have sent Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana almost to its grave. Almost to its grave.
That's the quote for the day.
This is it.
This government has sent the Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana into its grave.
That's the difficulty, Kwame.
That's a deep statement. Let me read a few messages here. Aliu Musa says, e-levy is a product. If you want to get more, get it from the profits of the telcos. If they try to do that, the telcos will withdraw the product, and the government can't do anything about it. Dr. Kwaku, no, he's a professor. Professor Kwaku, you are a lecturer. Please tell me, how can you close a source of revenue, toll fees, and you can sit there and defend the economic minister or team of the MPP? This is an abomination. Innocent Masagben Kunburi, I hope I got the name right. No, we can only agree with the government when it stops its flamboyant way of living, which is it's never agreeing to do. Elder Roxin Anyimadu says, good morning to you, KOD, and kudos to your honorable panelists. I want Prof. Malta to clear my mind about where his allegiance lie. He has never seen anything wrong with the MPP without including NDC. Oh, let me know where MPP has failed since assuming power 5 years ago. NDC never promised of stopping borrowing, but we were told that it was a lazy man's approach. But what has changed? E-levy is for another borrowing, period. Mohammed Abdul Razak Ali, Prof, do you realize how the president is living? Is it okay for you? 33 billion to corruption according to the Auditor General. Jonathan Asan Akpale says, good morning to you, Honorable. Thank you for empowering the youth of Upper East and Binduri at large. Ernest Davidson Yomokwe, Doc, should not play intellectual dishonesty. He wants us to do percentages because it suits him. But if we come to nominal terms, if you double the price of your product while it is at the lower level, the impact is lower. And vice versa. Doc, that's what I want to say. Data no ya na a percentage na be boa no. Frederick Joseph Amoakwa says community killed in the panelists. Please, Prof is holding brief for the MPP but refuses to admit it. It is a no to e-levy. Wisdom Lechumensa says the Prof must know that it's a give and take affair. 12.8 billion goes wasted. Over 230 billion borrowed without anything to show for. What would 20 billion do in 3 years? We no go pay. Boachi Adman says, Prof, compare 2008 PPG 3 cedis 69 to the dollar terms is what? Okay, dollars. 2016 PPG $14 equals 3 cedi 50 pesos. 2022 PPG 31 Ghana cedis is 4 cedi 83 pesos. PPG is equal to price per gallon. Okay, convert at dollar rate at the time and see the difference. Aliu Musa says Ghana is broke. The creditors will come in and take everything, the mines, etc.
Yeah.
If the government wants more money from the 1% collected by the telcos, ask for more tax from the telcos and not tax the unemployed again on top of the indirect taxes they are already paying. Prof, do you pay any levy on the minute you buy from the telcos? When you top up, you pay. By the way, what do they do with the revenues from the National Lottery? The telcos should remove the Momo product. It's that's a period. All right. Dixon Gandhi Jr. Good morning to you, Champion KOD. Please tell Prof to stop deceiving himself that he doesn't speak for any political party, but rather data, because we all know he always like to pick sides. Idrisu Alangwame. Good morning to you. And your viewers, I'm watching you live from Kumbungu, Simboma. I hope I got it right. Silimboma in the northern. My greetings to your panelists, please. You are all salaried workers. Think of those who don't have anything. Right. Now, Honorable Timothy Atabwadi Awonterim is watching us from Tamale. Kwame, what is Prof Mauto talking about? Both parties' failures. Since when did he realize that there is no room for comparison? He should admit that his MPP has woefully failed and disappointed not just Ghanaians, but the MPP rank and file. He should stop the desperados. How can Prof say that when we come, we will increase it? Yes. But what has the current government used the 344 billion cedis for? If indeed a future NDC increases it and the people feel money has been used for development and not consumption, they will certainly clearly be happy. My final message is from Ambassador Sampi Dayali. My His Excellency. The e-levy is expected to yield 7 billion and the budgetary allocation to the Office of Government Machinery is 3 billion. So, how much will be left for national development? The Auditor General says 12.5 billion. Ghana cities cannot be accounted for. Auditor General has found again that 52 billion transferred from the Bank of Ghana to Bank of Ghana cannot be accounted for. Maybe Commercial Bank to Bank of Ghana cannot. If close to about 80 billion cannot be accounted for, what can 7 billion do? They should be allowed to use COVID-19 as an excuse. They received more money during COVID than we could have mobilized as a country. After all these, we are paying COVID tax. Hey! Professor Kwekufe, Kwekumanto de Asemaba. Agufiale said, Professor Kwekufe bought the Asemaba. No, I think Professor Kwekumanto de Asemaba. Hey, what's Asemaba? This brings us to the close of the show. Let me extend, a voice of appreciation to you, Professor Kwekumanto, for your time this morning. I appreciate you. I Dr. Robert, you promised to MP for Binduri constituency. Thank you very much. My time is at there's a recording after this. I would have done that. I always do that for you. Let me address it. I always do that for you. With the grace of it. I love you. I love you too. 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 I'll see you guys tomorrow. But let me remind you that this news segment was probably brought to you by Trasaco Springs. Like I told you, if you're a young man, if you need to buy property, service plot, you pay, be paid within a certain time frame. make sure that you call Trasacco Springs. Very affordable service plots, gated community, securities assured. You can also pay by installment. You can buy an uncompleted one for, I think, $180,000, between $180,000 to $200,000. You pay within a certain period, and then you're good. So call them 055-659-2658. 055-659-2658. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Trasacco Estates, home to Accra's most beautiful and luxurious homes, presents its newest addition, Trasacco Springs, a premium master planned community of service plots surrounded by an exhaustive list of amenities